Despite losing the other day to Atletico Madrid, we need to bounce back and go again this weekend, as another big game is on the horizon in the Scottish Premiership. In today's video, we will discuss all the latest Celtic news from the last 24 hours. But first, make sure you hit that like button, and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Oh, the plight of Celtic in the dizzying heights of European football. As we weep into our green and white scarves mourning a time when the name Celtic carried a fearsome clang across the continent, we find ourselves at an impasse, a fork in the road paved with gold coins on one side and sensible shoes on the other. It's as if Celtic's European campaign became the football equivalent of Groundhog Day, but without the redemption arc. Let's embark on a little gallows humour, shall we? Once upon a time, not so long ago, a Celtic fan could swagger into the pub, pint in hand, chest puffed out, ready to wax lyrical about the upcoming Champions League fixture. Fast forward to now, where the only thing we're puffing out is a long, dissolute sigh. What happened to those halcyon days when Neil Lennon and Gordon Strachan had us dreaming beyond the last 16? Indeed, Celtic Park used to be a fortress where the mightiest of Europe tread carefully. Now it seems to have the welcome mat permanently out. The recent Champions League form reads less like a football record and more like a cry for help scribbled in a maths student's margins. More crosses than tick marks, and a bottom line result that requires a magnifying glass to find the positives. And as for not keeping a clean sheet in 14 games, one starts to wonder if the concept of the defence has been mistaken for a new brand of Swiss cheese. Brendan Rodgers, with his Mallorca tan fading in the Glaswegian drizzle, looked to bring back the spirit of Europe to a side that frankly could do with a bit of continental je ne sais quoi. Yet the same old Celtic tale unwinds, with a recruitment that seems to whisper meh rather than raw come at us. It's a storyline even the most passionate fan is growing tired of thumbing through. The boardroom, bastion of physical prudence, boasts a balance sheet that would make Scrooge swoon. Yet as they bathe in coins of financial security, they seem to toss only breadcrumbs to the hungry masses yearning for European glory. Peter Lawwell's ledger love affair, while understandable in the cold light of economic day, leaves a bitter taste when the floodlights of Parkhead blaze in European night. This security-first philosophy does indeed keep the wolf from Celtic's domestic door, keeping our deaf friends from across the city peering through the window of success with envious eyes. Yet, it does seem to curb the ambition required to punch above one's weight on the European stage. The fans' love is tested. It's one thing to be thrifty, quite another to appear almost complacently defeatist. The question circles like a vulture over Celtic's European carcass. To spend or not to spend? Do we storm the Bastille of European elites with all cannons blazing, knowing full well the ammunition could run out? Or do we continue to hoard our gunpowder, ensuring dominion over our small island but never daring to conquer new lands? That is a dilemma that pricks at the heart of every fan. The appetite for adventure must be weighed against the risk of ruin. When the likes of Newcastle and their financial muscle don't flex as expected, being turned over by Dortmund twice, it only serves to deepen the furrows in the brows of the decision makers at Celtic. As for the fans, well, our dreams are made of European nights that echo with the sounds of victory. Performances may have been more polished before Tuesday even in Madrid, but the group table tells its own story. Could it be that the board at Celtic Park are the true realists? The adults at the table calmly urging moderation as we, the fans, cling to our naivety like a cherished scar from a bygone era. We dream in Technicolor, yearning for the days of European conquests, while they govern in monochrome, balancing books with the cold precision of an actuary. It's a timeless tussle between heart and head, where the head seems to be perpetually reminding the heart that football is now business first and a game second. Are we too wrapped up in the romance of what could be, failing to grasp the stark realities of what is? Perhaps, but then again, what is football without dreams? Pat Nevin is worried that Kyogo might be carrying an injury following Celtic's 6-0 defeat to Atletico Madrid in the Champions League on Tuesday night. As Celtic fans know very well, Kyogo is a live wire of his non-stop battery, making him a much-liked player out on the pitch for the team. But during Celtic's thrashing in the Champions League on Tuesday, even before the rout could start, Pat Nevin noticed how Kyogo was very unlike himself, as he told BBC Radio 5 Live Sport. The 28-year-old already has 2 goals to his name in the Champions League, including against Atletico Madrid in the first game at home. But his form has dipped of late, and it seemed to show during the first half of the game, before the destruction from the Spanish side could start. Celtic's Japan star did have a bit of a rest over the weekend, so it's not like he's been overworked, with Nevin sharing his thoughts on the player last night. There is no real movement, said Nevin. Even Kyogo, who always seems to be sprinting and running everywhere, trying to run behind all the time. He hasn't really looked like himself that night. He has been a lot more static than he usually is. Sometimes you wonder if he is carrying a bit of an injury, and that sometimes slows players down, very unlike him in this game. That's 3 Premiership games without a goal for Celtic star forward, which by his standards is a drop in form. This isn't a case of getting worried about Kyogo, no chance, he just needs to get a goal to wake himself up again and put some confidence back into the team. That defeat in Spain was very hard to take, with no real progression seen as fans have to prepare for another post-Christmas without Europe. Yes, Maida's red card didn't help matters at all, but that shouldn't result in the team crumbling for 6. Celtic's European campaign faces a severe test of depth and character as they prepare to march into Rome without key wingers Maida and Palmer for their crunch match against Lazio on match day 5. The Hoops' aspirations for continental competition beyond Christmas hang precariously in the balance after a torrid outing against Madrid. The fallout from the bruising encounter in Madrid continues, with Maida's red card indisputably ruling him out in the upcoming clash. To compound Celtic's troubles, Palmer's accumulation of yellow cards, notably picked up for the dissent in a match that saw Atletico players escape similar censure, means manager Brendan Rodgers is now without both his first choice wingers for a fixture that could define their European destiny. Celtic's resilience will be thoroughly tested, as a prospect of deploying James Forrest and possibly Yang from the start looms large. Rodgers will have to conjure a masterclass in tactical nous and motivational leadership to keep Celtic's hopes alive. With the pressure mounting, the Hoops are acutely aware that victory in the Eternal City is non-negotiable. A win would keep the dream of European nights at Parkhead in the new year alive. However, doing so without Maida's dynamism and Palmer's creativity adds a significant layer of complexity to the task at hand. Matt O'Reilly has been left out of the Denmark squad despite receiving a late call-up last month. The Celtic midfielder was dropped from Kasper Huijsen's squad yesterday, with Kasper Dolberg, the player O'Reilly had previously replaced in the squad, being referred to by Huijsen instead. Dolberg withdrew from the squad last month following the birth of his twins, and Huijsen agreed that it was the right decision for the striker to return to Belgium. This meant O'Reilly was in line to make his debut but failed to do so, as Denmark narrowly defeated San Marino 2-1. O'Reilly was also not called up for the Denmark under-21 national side. At 22 years old, turning 23 later this month, he is now beyond the age limit to be allowed to play international football at the under-21 level. O'Reilly made his debut for the Denmark under-21 side in March 2022 against Belgium, and he scored his first goal 3 months later in a 3-1 win against Turkey. The Hoops playmaker has been in sensational form this season, and is unlucky not to make the squad. He is currently top scorer in the Scottish Premiership with 6 goals. International involvement would have been an opportunity for him to gain valuable experience and understand how Denmark plays and what Kasper Huijsen expects from his players. However, with established players like Christian Eriksen, Pierre-Emil Højbjerg and Matthias Jensen in the mix, O'Reilly faces a significant challenge in trying to secure a place in the squad on a regular basis. Denmark's loss is certainly Celtic's gain, as O'Reilly can now train at Lennox Town during the international break and get some much needed time to recover, having started in all but one Scottish Premiership game this season. Celtic fans, what are your thoughts on our Champions League campaign so far, and do you think Kyogo is off it? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. That brings us to the end of today's video, guys. Make sure you drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Remember, we have released our brand new t-shirts. We have our Brendan Rodgers Pope t-shirt and our Celtic Ultra t-shirts too. You can find them at celticapparel.com or just go down to the link in the description. Thank you, take care, bye bye.